So you want to win your fantasy football league. All you need to do, watch this video, learn from a 3-time best ball champ, and you're well on your way. How's it going, everybody? Liam Murphy, looking to become a 4-time NFL best ball champion today. Before we jump into the drafts, I've navigated over to beatbestball.com, my best ball website. And I figured we'd take a look at the article I dropped yesterday, which is free if you sign up. I also updated all of my rankings today. You can find those at the top of the page. DraftKings, Drafters, Underdog, and Manage ranks for you doing home leagues. Had to update for some preseason usage I found notable. Had to update for the Jahan Dotson trade. Just general information. So for those doing DraftKings best ball, I advanced 51 of my 150 teams. That's a 34% advance rate over 2 times expectation. Expectation is 25 teams. I got 51 teams in there. I only got 44 naturally. 7 of them are wild cards. I drafted most of my teams late, and how I drafted them was by doing batches of like 15 on my phone. So pretty crazy. I just I manually scraped all these, which DraftKings does not save teams. And I think it's just fun to look back, see how you could end some drafts. You will notice the name Kyren Williams almost everywhere. If I had done all my underdog teams in late August, I would have had Kyren Williams almost everywhere. But I draft throughout the year to try to get different benefits. So let's try to find some teams to look through. Here's a fun one. Daniel Jones, IR. Bryce Young, the other quarterback. Jordan Love, the third quarterback. Jordan Love, of course, was the highest scoring quarterback week 17. So not a great quarterback room. When I, by doing so many drafts at the same time, I didn't always stack if things were going crazy. Running back room of Miles Sanders, terrible. Jerick McKinnon, not good. Elijah Mitchell and Damian Harris, bad. How'd this team advance? Devin Singletary, smash. Kyren Williams, smash. Rico Dowdle, pretty good pick, Wide receiver room with Tyreek Hill, Devontae Adams, Devonta Smith, Amari Cooper, Christian Watson, Gabe Davis, and Darius Slayton, who also scored well week 17. And a tight end room of Kyle Pitts, Dalton Kincaid, and Trey McBride. So pretty funny team there. Obviously powered by the back end of the draft. This team, too, has McBride and Kyren. Got Laporta as well. It's got Dak to Brandon Cooks. Of course, you needed CeeDee Lamb. We got Mac Hollandshare here. We got a lot of Rico and Kyren. Zamir White. Let's look at that one. It was Jared Goff, Tony Pollard. I was really high on Tony Pollard last year, and he disappointed. Expected fantasy points, he did really well. So I think it was a good process pick. Bad outcome. Of course, didn't weigh the offseason surgery as much as needed. Ramondre Stevenson, another guy I drafted somewhat, and I was pretty confident the Patriots offense would suck, so I think it was just bad process to be drafting Ramondre in the 4th round, something I've definitely revised this year. Amon-Ra, Christian Watson, Brandon Ayuk, TJ Hawkinson. I was really high on TJ Hawkinson last year. I said he could be tight end 1. And he was tight end 1 until he got injured. JSN, David Montgomery, Dak Prescott to go with Pollard, Dalton Schultz, Tyler Boyd, Dawson Knox, Jalen Hyatt, Jeff Wilson Jr., Rashid Shaheed. Shaheed's a hit. Sam Howell, he was a good value. Zamir White, a hit. Kyron Williams, a smash. And Rico Dowdle, a hit. I had a lot of Zamir White last year early on in the draft process, just making the choice that he was the RB2. Is stream a bit clunky? Hopefully that's on your end. I did some things to try to speed up my computer, so could just be all these tabs I have open. But yeah, you can find that article here along with my freshly updated rankings. Linked it in the chat for you. How do you feel about Ramondre in the 8th? I think Ramondre in the 8th round is a decidedly different bet from Ramondre in the 4th round, right? He's cheaper. He's still not one of my favorite players. The offense probably won't be very good, but he's cheaper. The Badge Bros Brawl dropped yesterday on Underdog. By the way, guys, I got someone working on my AC here, so we are sweating it out in Florida. I may have to step outside if he comes in here. The Badge Bros Brawl. I doubt I'll max this contest. It's over halfway filled. Jeez, I cannot get myself to join any drafts. This is if I can get in one. We're in there. All right. This is a 6-person room. 50 entry max. 21,000 total entrants. Advance rates of 1 out of 6. Only one person advances. Then 1 out of 5. Then 1 out of 5. 140 person final. Pretty big final, in my opinion. Min cash of 500. So you will get your money back if you min cash. Quite top heavy. Where first is 50K. Second is 25K. So 50% of first. Third is 10K. So 20% of first. And 5th place gets paid 10% of what first place does. Gets 5K. So extremely top heavy. AKA, it's first or last, baby. It's first or last. It's good to look out payout structures like that. Sure. CD Lamb. This is my first one of these. They're 18 rounds. 6-person drafts. So they'll go quicker than normal. I'll only get a couple of these in. Really don't know what's the best way to display this for you guys. Appreciate you guys all being here. Please like the stream. The link to join my Discord is below. And subscribe if you're feeling generous. I'm on the road to 6K subscribers. 600 away. What do you think makes you a 3-time best ball champion? I think I'm an independent thinker. I think as far as like how I analyze things and think about things. So not afraid to go against the crowd, especially when I believe in my process. Sure. AJ Brown seems like a pretty good pick to pair here with CD Lamb. They play each other week 17. Could just be the nuts. Maybe you need these two players to win. And obviously, when you're playing tournaments, I ran pretty good too, right? I definitely played good. I was trying to win week 17, I'm often not trying to just advance my team. I'm trying to think, how do I win the tournament, not get my money back, which, you think would be a basic thing in these best ball tournaments, but it's not. There's not professional gamblers competing in these things. A lot of people want their money back. So they just have a fundamental misunderstanding of where money is won in tournaments. You don't win money for advancing and then losing. You don't. You got to win. You got to win the tournament. That's often where all the money, like for something like the Badge Bros, getting 5K feels nice on a $10 entrant, but it's a far cry from $50,000, right? So, but yeah, on top of all that, definitely I ran well too. Getting lucky at the right time, putting yourself in position to get lucky, God, I am sweating out in this room with this no AC. Bijan over Brees in redraft, full PPR. I'm there, Smooth Crim, but you can't go wrong. Let's get Ayuk. We're not going to do many of these. Let's get our guys. Clearly, most feel that the optimal here is to get running backs. One thing I didn't look at, and we need to look at, is what's the starting lineup? And I hope it's the same. It is 1, 2, 3, 1. Changes the equation, obviously. Yeah, and we'll go Chris Olave too. We'll figure out running back later. Did you max all your entries when you won? No. I did max Best Ball Mania. I did not max the DraftKings 555. And I won that one. And I guess I did max the 2K, but it was a 2-entrant max, so. I can't get behind the Olave hate lately. Carr looked decent last 4 games. I don't agree that, Carr is serviceable. He's a serviceable quarterback. I think he has bench risk. I don't hate Olave. I don't love him. I see the thesis for him, which is I think he ran bad last year. He's a clear positive regression candidate. And we have hopes that they're going to give him some more middle of the field work and not strictly go routes. Does anyone max the DK 555? Yes, many. I mean, not many, but yes, people do. Some people are giga rich. Jalen Hurts getting the QB2 feels good. So we're obviously hoping to beat the room at wide receiver and quarterback. I don't think I'll draft another wide receiver. Let's go ETN too. Just a bit of a tier break after ETN at running back. And with everyone else kind of panicking on running backs here, grabbing Pacheco 28th, Derrick Henry 25th. Feels nice to get excuse me. Feels nice to get ETN a full 2 rounds later. So we don't love this. I was hoping one of these 3 tight ends would make it on their way back. I personally like the younger tight ends than Travis Kelce. I have a soft fade going on Travis Kelce. Can he be great? Of course he can be great. But we'll settle for Mark Andrews there. There's just no systematic risk with the young ones, in my opinion. I don't hate Josh Jacobs, but he's less exciting. It's kind of planning on doing Dak later, but why not? Let's working a Lamar Andrews combo here. I think the real edge in a contest like this is obviously only 103 players get drafted. So, you know, these players are just not getting drafted. Almost all of them. So a couple of things you can do here. One, how you build your roster, you can hope to be unique either by doing things like this, grabbing Kincaid and McBride, doing things like I did, 5 straight wideouts, double league quarterback, just straight up reaching early instead of taking, Nico Collins, you take Travis Kelce or Dalton Kincaid, whatever. You're just getting unique there. And then also reaching on the back end, taking I don't know, Dalton Schultz, who won't get drafted. How important are late round hits in winning? Almost always essential. I want to use the word important. I would use the word essential. Because these are insane. Like, I don't even know what I'm going to do for my roster construction. For example, the year I won the 555, the year I won Best Ball Mania 2, I hit on Rashad Penny, put up 30 points week 17. Amon-Ra St. Brown, put up 30 points week 17. I hit on Christian Kirk, a key part of advancing. I hit on Jeff Wilson Jr. was a low-owned dart. Had an okay week 16. He got hurt. People stopped drafting him. Just last year, Kyron Williams was essential to winning. Late round pick. The year I won the DK 555, I hit on Jerick McKinnon, more middle rounds. Zay Jones, late round. Trey McBride, last round pick. Put up 20 PPR points week 17. Helped me win. Actually, a reason I won. So, picks are important throughout the draft. Yeah, you can get really wonky on construction because do I feel like I need another tight end? No. Do I feel like I need another wide receiver? No. Another quarterback? No. We're going to take old man Kamara here. Pairs with Olave. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 picks left. Probably go a third tight end just out of responsibility. Mark Andrews also involved with in a car crash. Jake Ferguson also stacks with Hurts, CeeDee Lamb, AJ Brown week 17. They play each other. Alex, good luck, man. I'm going to wait until I've done 130 BBMs. I'm going to try to wait until we get some depth charts, see if any. I don't think any players are going to emerge that I haven't been thinking of, but you never know. There's some, Colts tight end. That's a position I'm not comfortable drafting right now. I'm pretty sure who's in the mix there. Johnny Woods not confirmed dead, by the way. Got surgery. Hopeful he returns by Christmas, week 17. But pretty dead. Colts RB2 is another spot. The market's not really drafting. Evan Hull, Trey Sermon. Tyler Goodson. Chiefs RB2. Probably getting some clarity there, but not confirmed. I think now I just start like, yeah, we're gonna build wonky here. We're gonna build like a 2-8-5-3 and just deal on the consistency of this group. No one has overlapping buys. Assuming the pick is worth it, you know? Sure. Jalen Warren is great in a build like this because we don't need him. Also, by building a 2-8-5-3, we're going to be drafting quite a bit of players who are probably not usually drafted. Again, only 103 players get drafted in this. And so if I start taking some of these running backs, they could be sub 1% owned in the contest. Yeah, Darren Waller is dead. You can't even have the Jelani Woods hope there. Can I do a DK draft? Might be able to do that, Vadim. We did one yesterday on stream. God, I am sweating. I've wanted to go to the gym today, but I've not really had the chance with the AC guy here. Najee Harris, not even in a fire. Loved your beef with Will Jaffe. Will's a good guy, I'm sure, but yeah, he was take locked. He was coping. Don't really like this guy's build. The 1-6-6-1. So our team so far is Jalen Hurts and Lamar. Check. ETN, Rashad White, Alvin Kamara, Aaron Jones, Jalen Warren, Jonathan Brooks, Brian Robinson. Check. CeeDee Lamb, AJ Brown, Puka Nacua, Brandon Ayuk, Chris Olave. Check. Mark Andrews, Evan Ingram, Jake Ferguson. Check. I don't really know how you get a comfortable advanced edge in something like this where like everyone's building a super team, you know? But I'm sure there's ways. Like I like my team better than the one hole. Is the RB room of Ken Walker, Ramondre, Zeke, Trey Benson, Jalen Wright, Carson Steele dead? No, I don't think that's dead at all. I definitely have worse running back rooms than that. I mean, Ken Walker, Ramondre is week one production. J.K. Dobbins has got to be like the worst pick in this. Rico Dowdle, almost certainly not getting drafted, plays the Cowboys and plays the Eagles week 17. So, all right, we got a wonky one here. Jalen Hurts and Lamar, Travis Etienne, Rashad White, Alvin Kamara, Aaron Jones, Jalen Warren, Jonathan Brooks, Brian. Okay. Let's get it back there. Brian Robinson, Rico Dowdle, CeeDee Lamb, AJ Brown, Puka Nacua, Brandon Ayuk, Chris Olave, Mark Andrews, Evan Ingram, Jake Ferguson. Did I need to go 8 running backs? No. Probably could have taken a 6th wide receiver, but we didn't. We didn't do that. I don't think I'll be doing many of these. Like, they're fun, but they are just a little bit too different from normal best ball, and I still got a lot of normal best ball teams to draft. Will Carson still get any regular Carson who? You mean Carson Steele? He's my choice for Chiefs RB2, but I don't think we know. Is it going to be surprising if the team defaults to CEH? No. Do I think it's Deneric Prince? Definitely not. Do I think Carson Steele is at worst the fullback? Yes. Um, do I think he looks good? Yes. Is it great he's beating up on third stringers? No. So I don't know. He fits the bill as a high upside swing, you know. So I think he's defensible to mix in. The key is uniqueness. Uniqueness slash just building the nuts a little bit. You know, it's kind of hard for anyone to build like terrible when they get so many players, but it's not about I mean, as far as like advancing, which advancing is the other than winning the finals, advancing is the hardest stage here, not accounting for the fact you have to beat super teams. You know, 1 out of 6, 1 out of 5, 1 out of 5. But like trying to beat your room, like I want to beat the room at quarterback. I want to beat the room at tight end. I want to beat the room at wide receiver. And I want a lot of darts at running back. I don't think you'll need 200 points, but you'll need a lot of points. Okay, people have been wanting a DraftKings draft. Let's give it to them. We did one yesterday. I did 5 yesterday or this morning at the same time, which is always a hit or miss thing. I thought the teams turned out pretty good. Got Brandon Ayuk in the 4th round. You know, like some of the guys I like Brandon Ayuk, Christian Kirk, despite my ranking on them, I don't take them at their rankings because I know that the room is pretty bad and will give me these guys very, very late. So I think Christian Kirk is a defensible 4th round pick, but I wouldn't bother taking him because I see he goes in the 6th round here. Brandon Ayuk goes at the back end of the 3rd. Like we're probably going to get him here at 310. Pulled the 110. Christopher, he was hungry for it. Here's your DK draft. Playing a chess tournament again tomorrow. May or may not get a stream in. Most undervalued DK specific pick, brother, like infinite. There's infinite players priced poorly. Most rookies. Am I going to fire the Circus Survivor of Millions? I would like to, Jack, but I think that requires like getting a proxy for me in Vegas. It just sounds like a lot, you know. If I could just go online and do things like that. Who will be the wide receiver 1 for the Buffalo Bills? Probably Khalil Shakir, but I still take Keon Coleman. And Curtis Samuel will have some weeks. I mean, Dalton Kincaid is the #1 target in Buffalo. Yeah, I'm not making it out to Vegas to sign up. What's up, Chuck? What are those King of the Desert things on DK? You're just going to have to click the info tab and read about it. But basically, I think it's a live qualifier. You have to like win the tournament to get a live qualifier to then maybe win money. I don't know. How do you get a badge? On Underdog? Quantity of drafts. Do you agree with Sean Siegel's assessment of Kendra Miller? I don't read anything of Sean. I only catch occasional clips when I occasionally watch a ship chasing stream. My take on Kendra Miller is he was a 3rd round pick. I don't think it's that notable that the coach is talking down on him. He's injured. He's not been practicing. So that's all negatives for Kendra. Pretty clear open RB2 spot. You also have to deal with Taysom Hill, though, who is going to be playing running back and is probably the actual RB2. I think Kendra Miller is a defensible guy to mix in the late rounds, right? Does he fit the bill as a high upside guy because he was a high draft pick? Yeah, that's kind of why I drafted Rashad Penny in BBM2 and won the tournament because Rashad Penny was a former 1st round pick. So I just bet on the talent. Is it possible that Kendra Miller is a pure zero? And do I want him on every single one of my teams? Yes, it is possible he's a pure zero. And no, I don't want him on all my teams. Let's go H-Chan this time. Let's get that AFC East combo going. So I would have taken Puka. I think Puka is a clear have to draft. Anytime you see like a Saber Sim logo, which by the way, I got to get the Beat Best Ball logo going. But anytime you see the Saber Sim logo or ETR logo, probably not a donkey. You know, Kendra could be a zero until week 12 and then have a penny like run. Yeah, Alex. I mean, any player could be that. But yes, I think that is some hopium on Kendra. That I mean, like Kendra fits the bill of many players in the player pool, which is they are high upside if they are playing. Will they play? I don't know. So I would say Luke McCaffrey fits that bill. Luke McCaffrey is a decently high upside player as a 3rd round pick if he's seen the field. Will he see the field? I think so. You know? This level of gal braining I'll let other people do. The key to winning this year is Jameis and Amari. I think it is okay to sacrifice a pick and do a Watson Jameis combo. If I had David Njoku, Amari Cooper, Watson, and then 18, I have either one other quarterback or 2 other quarterbacks, and I'm like, yeah, whatever. I'll just guarantee I have Brown starting quarterback. That's always okay to do. We don't love to be sacrificing late round picks because, again, we talked about their importance. But that's like the only way I would be drafting Jameis. What about Russ plus Fields? Yes, I've done that. I've done I've done Russ plus Fields when I had to. Let me let my cat out. Like in one of my high, these find someone that loves you the way a DraftKings drafter loves a quarterback. Because some of these rooms just get insane with the quarterback hoarding. And so I've gotten locked out at quarterback and had to go Russ plus Fields. I'm not trying to do it. Like I have Jaden Daniels QB1 and then Steelers quarterback QB2. I think a Puka Achane start's pretty good. If I had an elite quarterback, I'd just choose one. I wouldn't handcuff then. Yeah, Brandon Ayuk. His ADP is just now here. I mean, wild. I mean, if he was traded to the Commanders and Terry McLaurin was involved in that trade, arguably an upgrade. Like, I don't think Jaden Daniels is going to be like that horrific of a passer. Like almost any efficiency you give up, you're going to make up in volume unless he's a Pittsburgh Steeler. Peter admitting here. Good for you, Peter. He said, I QB hoarded one time in a $3 draft because I got upset about someone getting sniped from me, so I just trolled. It's okay to do things like that because you're upset. I wouldn't. I don't want to burn my own money and spite myself. I'd rather just adjust. And in a $3 draft, whatever, right? I think DraftKings should definitely limit the quantity of quarterbacks you can select to a reasonable number, like 4 or 5. Underdog has done this. Underdog this year limited the quantity of quarterbacks you can select to 4 to prevent people from trolling or whatever, or trying to collude or whatever. So yeah, I think that's a no-brainer implementation. Will we see it from them? Probably not. I got sniped on Darnold yesterday. Devin, I don't know if that one counts, right? Like when you get so late in the draft, I mean, unless someone took Darnold at pick 159, like someone might have just needed a third quarterback, You think there's a max QB and tight end you can draft now on DK? Yeah, I don't know. I've never tried to do anything crazy. Adam says he thinks it's capped at 5 now, which is reasonable enough, I guess. I actually think Underdog should raise the limit of their wide receivers. I sent someone on their team a notice because I built a 1-4-10-2 with Josh Allen on Underdog. 1-4-15. Yeah, 1-4-10-2. And I was there in the 18th round, and I was like, you know what? I want an 11th wide receiver instead of a second quarterback. Like, I'm just going to do solo Josh Allen, but I couldn't, so I took Justin Fields. It wouldn't let me take the wideouts. And I don't think wideout is like a position we ever see someone try to hoard. Like, I've never seen someone try to do like 20 wideouts. Chase and Lamb holdout was so annoying. I mean, is it annoying or is it a generational wealth opportunity? CeeDee Lamb went pick 3 in this draft. That wasn't available earlier. Jamar Chase went 5 in this draft, but he will also go like 108, 109 at times. Yeah, I can pull up the team on Underdog that I tried to go 11 wide receivers on. They can't change it this year because the contest has started, so you can't do things like that. But I know this team because it was one of my first teams back from Ireland. It's a weird one. We went Brees Hall, don't have a lot of him. We went Saquon, don't have a lot of him. I think I was planning to do Brees Hall and JT as an allegory to my BBM2 win, which was Aaron Rodgers running back, Aaron Jones, and then JT. But they went, so I took Saquon. Josh Allen was on my winning BBM2 team. Christian Kirk was on my winning BBM2 team. Kincaid, an awesome stack there. James Cook, pretty good value there, adding to the Bill stack. Keon Coleman, Curtis Samuel, Cortland Sutton, Khalil Shakir. So we got the Bills mega here. Mike Williams plays the Bills, week 17. Jerome Ford, our fourth and final running back. Good value on him. Luke Musgrave, our second tight end. Ricky Pearsall, Malachi Corey, Luke McCaffrey, DJ Chark. And then I wanted this pick. I think I tried to take Trey Tucker or something, but I couldn't, so I took Justin Fields. So I don't build a lot like this 2-4-10-2 with a hyper fragile build, and the wide receiver room mostly sucks. And that's why I wanted an 11th wideout. I'll be right back, guys. I got to talk to the AC guy. What's going on? All good? Sorry, guys. Shout out the AC repairman. Replaced our AC fully under warranty. He told me he thinks the AC got struck by lightning. I was like making pics on my phone while I was talking to him. Zay Jones suspended? We're going to have to pull up that news. Zay Jones has been undraftable for a while. There was some time where, well, let's just grab Worthy this time. If I wasn't baking ADP into the mix, I would take Rome straight up over Worthy. And I mean, Rome does play Metcalf, so that gives us a correlation, but Worthy's just getting more expensive because he scored a preseason touchdown. I just think that, come on. Rome went 9 overall in the real NFL draft. Worthy was a back end of the first. Yeah, I'm excited about Worthy too. I like Worthy. But you got to be Rome over Worthy. All else equal. Yeah, the AC, it was icing over. It wasn't working. It was making weird noises. Shout out this dude. Came in. Replaced it under warranty for us. So we got working AC now. What round should we take Roman Worthy and redraft? Rob, what I would say is just make sure you get them. Adjust to your room, but I think guys like Chris Godwin will always go ahead of them in redraft. I think Calvin Ridley will go ahead of them in redraft. I think Keenan Allen will go ahead of them in redraft. Depends where you live, though. If you live in Chicago, probably not. If you live in Kansas City, probably not. There is some of that going on. Like if you live in Buffalo, Keon Coleman's probably around more expensive. Um, but whatever. Let's pretend you live in, I don't know, like what's the most neutral state we can think of? Let's say you live in trying to think of a neutral state here. Help me out, guys. What's a neutral state? Let's just say you live in Idaho. Whatever. You live in Idaho. There's no team affinity. Um Canada, sure. Um Switzerland. Yeah, you live in Switzerland. Your banking is super legit. Anyways, I would just make sure you get Roman Worthy. In my high stakes draft with Sanderson and Ron Stewart, which performs like this is a $2,000 draft, but performs way more like a managed league, a home league, and it's tight and premium. But we took Worthy in the 6th and Rome in the 7th. So in your home league, you probably go like, and again, like I don't like, are you playing a 12-man home league? Are you playing a 10-man? Are you playing a 14? Like it changes. If it's a 10-man league, they're gonna be going in like these are 12 people drafts. A 10-person league is wildly different. So everything I talk about is in the context of a 12-person draft. Adjust to your league. If you're in an 8-person draft, again, different. You just saw a draft I did for a 6-person room. But whatever. I think Worthy and Rome, look at the ADP, adjust. There's always like some guys in your home leagues who watch college football though, and they're like, "Oh, I love Worthy, I love Rome, whatever." Like I have some guys like that in my home league. But I would just be trying to get them, and I would sacrifice running back depth to do it. They're two of the better players you can have in managed. Like I think they're awesome in best ball, but in managed, you don't even need to play them until you know. And I think Worthy, like, despite him being more expensive, is probably a little bit worse in managed than Rome. Where with Rome, like, he's just either going to so clearly be the guy playing in 2 wide receiver sets, etc. With Worthy, it might be like he just might be souped up Gabe Davis, where like he has some really, really, really big games, but he has a lot of games where you're like, he's not playable, Whatever. Let's take Swift here. We know we're gonna find wide receivers we like later. And this is an adjustment you just kind of have to make. Like, I like those wide receivers over Swift. But, Bears play this. Seahawks gives us that correlation. We passed on Rome. And again, I know I'm going to have wide receivers I like later in the draft. The Hollywood dip feels too much. Kind of, but like Hollywood was low-key ass last year. ESPN Analytics thought he was like one of the worst wide receivers in football. So I bought the dip, but I wasn't drafting him a lot before. Let's do Ramondre. Give us a trio of running backs we feel good about to at least give me some fantasy points. I like Ladd more than Ramondre as far as like an upside case, but there is a possibility Ladd McConkey is there for us in the 9th because I've seen that. That's wildly too high for Luke McCaffrey. Someone probably just thought they were drafting Christian McCaffrey. Hollywood's not been asked his whole career. And again, like with Hollywood last year, like was he bad because he knew he was leaving, you know? Hollywood at 144, I'm going to assume that's a DK draft. Do you think Herbert is RB2 in Chicago, or does Roshan get that role? I talked about that a little bit yesterday, Jack. I think you just have to assume it's Herbert, but I'm not super confident in it. I draft more Herbert. I still draft Roshan because, I mean, Roshan's been banged up. He started ahead. Velus Jones was getting looks at running back again, Cordell Patterson-esque. So I don't know. One of them will probably be inactive. Is Royce Freeman a trash can, or does he have a shot in the Cowboys offense? That's not one I would dumpster dive on. I'll take some Alexander Madison, but Royce Freeman, man, come on now. We ain't doing that. I'd rather have Cam Akers. Which of your priors have shifted the most? I wouldn't say I had, like, one of the examples would have been, again, this is why it's really hard. Going in before the preseason, I would have told you don't draft Jahan Dotson at all. And then after week 1, I again was like, haha, I was right. Let's draft Luke McCaffrey still. And Ben Sinnott. And then after the second preseason game, I was like, okay, maybe I'm wrong. Let's move Dotson back up. Was he still playing? He's still starting, whatever. Nope, I was right. Jahan Dotson traded. So, like, I don't like, what have we actionably learned from the preseason? Not much currently. I think we learned quite a bit when teams have to cut down rosters. I think that's when we learn things. I think we learned some things in the preseason, but again, each team is independent on how they use the preseason. All of these, like, it's very rare in a DK draft to see these quarterbacks, Dak, Daniels, Burrow, Caleb Love, to go in the 9th. Most of them go in the 8th and the 7th. Clearly there's like not as many just people who don't know what they're doing drafting in here. I feel like I'm already behind drafting against a chess. I'm not a chess master. A chess master is an actual term in chess. I'm not quite there. What do these guys got here? Whatever. I think it's unlikely either of them snipes me on Purdy. Like, I'm very confident this pan-fried beats would not have taken Purdy. I don't really know when a guy takes Derrick Henry at the 1-2 turn and has Mahomes with no wide receivers, like, do we know what T. Tober's doing? No. I don't, at least. And he takes Adam Thielen, case in point. So that's why you just kind of take Purdy. You get at least one stack you feel good about. And I feel really good about Purdy. Like, I don't think Purdy has a clear as like a breakout season or league winning season as like some of these quarterbacks that go before him. But as far as what his playoff schedule is and being part of potentially the winning lineups this year, I'm into Purdy. And then, yeah, I think we just take Addison here. Tough choice between a lot of these players, but Addison, he has the Q tag. People don't like that. It's just too late for him. He's not injured, by the way. Um, didn't practice, avoided major injury. Like, if you draft a lot of Justin Jefferson, but you don't draft Addison, I don't know what you're doing or what your process is. I do not draft a lot of Jefferson, but I do draft Addison because he goes in around 10, you know? Ayuk at 310. Brother, in one of my morning drafts, I got Ayuk at 4.8. So a lot of my 1-2 turn Ayuk teams not doing so hot. But at least we have different players. I'm more Jefferson because he's good and Addison isn't. In my opinion, if you're drafting Jefferson, you are inherently trying to draft a safe player because I don't think anyone's caping up and saying Jefferson will be wide receiver 1 in fantasy football this year. What they are saying though is he's a real life wide receiver. He's the real life wide receiver 1 and we like their coach and it will be good enough. So what you're saying, if that's your argument, is that Jefferson won't be the reason I'm losing. Like maybe he'll give me 18 PPR points, 17 PPR points. You're trying to capture some safety. You know, can Jefferson be wide receiver 1 if Addison isn't playing and if the Viking season could be so lost that the only way they get fan involvement is to force feed Jefferson 20 balls a game. And they're just like, look, that's what we're doing. Such as the Dolphins admitted that they were trying to get Tyreek to 2,000 yards last year. Kind of wild for a potential Super Bowl team to be chasing awards, but that's what they said they were doing, you know? And I think Addison is good. Like I think Addison ran hot, but I don't know how you can say a first round pick who went for 900 yards and 10 touchdowns is bad. Drinking the wrong one here. I'm not saying Jordan Addison is Justin Jefferson, you know, but he's probably better than a lot of the guys drafted ahead of him. He's probably better than Jameson Williams and Jackson Smith-Njigba. So we got 1-3-5-1. Pretty safe, fun way to build. Yeah, Wicks would have been a good week 17 pick there. We got 3-5-3 in the running for worst of all time builds. Tyler Lockett's been falling a lot in drafts. I still view Tyler Lockett positively. It's not ideal that he has not been practicing for a little bit. I think Gus and Shaheed, both kind of an end of a tier there. Let's just take Shaheed. Shaheed's not been practicing either. Is what it is. Have the previous best ball winners been early drafts or closer to the season? I don't know. Part of the reason why I went, part of the reason I wanted to go Gus is because I knew I could get like an Adonai Mitchell type still. But we already had three running backs, so why not? I think Adonai Mitchell should be a riser. He scored a touchdown. Seems like he's going to be starting. Richardson didn't look great, but whatever. I drafted the winning team in June, mid-June. Karain drafted the winning team in late July. Um, Last year's winner was drafted in late August, early September. And I don't remember when. No one really knows when Herzig drafted BBM1, but it was like such a different landscape then. What I can tell you about BBM1 is I didn't play on BBM1 that year, but I did play my first year of best ball on DraftKings. And I'm pretty sure the winner had Alvin Kamara and Devontae Adams, which was either a pure collusion start or like I wasn't drafting in May that year. I only drafted in I only found best ball in August. So maybe there was some news cycle and it was possible to get that combination. I'm Dell over Diggs if I only had one team. Are you clicking Taysom? Yeah, I like Taysom on sites where he's tight end eligible. This is pretty insane run here. At what point do you start to become concerned about your Chase and CD bags? Never. I guess week 1 if they're not playing football. But even then, I'd be comfortable with the process of it because that would be unprecedented. So I'm not going to waste any energy on being nervous. Could it go bad? Yeah, it could go bad. Good luck, Jack. Rashad White or James Cook? James Cook. Yeah, Fareed was late August. Not common at all. I think a lot of people like to waste energy thinking they're being cheated, but I don't think it's common that active collusion is happening. Is Wicks more of a best ball play than a redraft? Eddie, to be honest with you, like a lot of people want these to be cut and dry. I think it's both. He's unquestionably a best ball play, but he's possibly a managed play because if it isn't a 4 wide receiver rotation and Wicks just does become a wide receiver in 2 wide receiver sets, he's a good managed play, you know? So he's definitely a best ball play, but he's potentially a managed league play. All right, Noah, I've answered the Bills wide receiver question this stream, but clearly you weren't in here then based on your 5 recent comments. So I'll spell it out again. You put a gun to your head. You put a gun to my head and you made me choose one wide receiver to be a league winner in Buffalo. I think I would choose Khalil Shakir. I still take a lot of Keon Coleman though, because he doesn't need to be a league winner to be a good pick. Obviously, he could be a league winner, but he could also just be, he could like have a Jordan Addison season, but not in the way Jordan Addison did it. He could do it in the 2 goal line touchdowns a game type guy, you know? And then Curtis Samuel, I still think is a good pick. He'll give you some weeks. His league winning potential is something like James Cook is an unreliable pass catcher, so he gets to play running back too. But yeah, quite like Shakir. How it goes bad for Shakir is, well, all these obviously all right, let's take Tyler Algier. I don't know if this Tolbert guy is going to take Geno to stack with JSN. Rodgers was clearly a quarterback we would have liked, but he took him to stack with Brees Hall, which is fine. We kind of knew Tolbert here would just do some wild stuff. He got Bryce Young to go with his Adam Thielen in the 9th. And yeah, here I think we just get our second quarterback to pair with DK Metcalf. But it's possible no league winners emerge from Buffalo as far as like a managed hit, and they were all, they all just kind of give you some weeks, kind of like the Green Bay guys, because I don't think it's a lock that Khalil Shakir will be a 100% snap rate player. He could be pushed off the field and the Bills will run many formations. The Bills will run some formations where the pass catchers are Dalton Kincaid, Dawson Knox, Matt Collins, right? And that's it. And they'll flex out James Cook. Or they'll put, Curtis Samuel in the backfield and James Cook will be the slot. And Matt Collins will be outside and Kincaid will be slot and Dawson Knox will be outside. So they'll have some heavy rotations. They'll have some rotations probably without Shakir on the field. However, Shakir is the guy who I think is most likely to win down the field because he's fast and he has yard after the catch ability. Maybe Keon Coleman can do that too. Kind of like a George Pickens-esque or a T. Higgins-esque is the hope, where Keon Coleman is not separating, but he's got a really good quarterback with a big arm. And he can like moss guys. That's more Keon Coleman's game. We've not really seen that in Buffalo before. We've not really seen Josh Allen with that type of guy. Can Khalil Shakir put up like a John Brown type season? Hell yeah, he could. A souped up Cole Beasley season? Hell yeah. I'm still into Curtis Samuel. The turf toe is obviously worrisome. I'm a fan of Curtis Samuel's game. I don't know how the turf toe is going to impact him. He's definitely like a faster wide receiver. So Kincaid's my favorite pick, though. Shakir's at the same odds as Kincaid and better odds than Coleman and Samuel for 750 plus receiving yards. Yeah. I think that's sensible from the markets. I think, like Shakir on underdog's a pretty great pick because he's just more expensive elsewhere. Thoughts on Texans receiving core? I like them all. Tank and Nico are my favorites. I take Stephon Diggs still, though, sometimes. Kincaid, the guy to own in Buffalo. This may shock you guys, but much like how we want a lot of players in Green Bay, We want a lot of players for the Chiefs. Maybe the answer is you just kind of take a lot of players in Buffalo and let it sort out. I don't understand why some people just want to choose one player when they're all very cheap, right? Rice, Worthy, Kelsey are all more expensive than every single bill that's not Dalton Kincaid. And Pacheco is more expensive than James Cook. That's just not how it's going to work out in fantasy land. Every Chief is not going to outscore every single bill. That's not how it's going to work. It's more like taking a shower after 6 months in the woods, Chuck. Most underpriced offense this year. Probably the New York Jets secondary pieces. It's possible to look, how it can be annoying for Buffalo and how no one really works out is like Dawson Knox and Matt Collins are a big thing. Not likely. I think they'll play some, but I don't think it's likely they're like target dominant players. How it's annoying for the Jets pieces is like if Xavier Gibson and Alan Lazard are a big thing. Yeah, I think the Jets secondary pieces are too underpriced. And I would also say the Chargers. How often do you take a second elite tight end? Decently often. I'm gonna take like especially if one falls in drafts. Let's go Noah Fant here to stack with Geno. Wow, this guy just went Darnold because I don't even think I was going to take Darnold on my team. I wish best ball had defense and kicker, Christopher, because we'd see defenses going. I mean, honestly, no, because it would the integrity of the contest would be worse. What do we got here? We got 2-4-7-2. All right, let's do Hunter Henry, third and final tight end. A room of Andrews, Fant, and Henry seems defensible. The squad so far: Garrett Wilson, Devon Achane, Brandon Ayuk, DK Metcalf, Mark Andrews, Xavier Worthy, Swift and Ramondre, Purdy, Addison, Shaheed, Mitchell, Tyler Algier, Geno Smith, Fant, and Henry. So we got 2-4-7-3. We have 4 more picks left to draft. We are going to grab a third quarterback. We are going to grab 2 more running backs. And so we will build a standard 3-6-8-3. Do you think a top 5 tight end with Bowers is a good tight end combo? Yeah, because you could be landing 2 top 5 tight ends. It's pretty common, but it's good. Will you announce your advance rate at the end of the year? Yes, Russ, I will. Even better than that, we'll probably be looking at my advance rate weekly. I'll be doing, I don't exactly know what my in-season content will be yet. I'm going to have something probably DFS focused. I'll have something also, like last year I did a review of the week stream and looked at best ball teams. So maybe I'll do something like that again. Trying to rate my fantasy team. Tim, we don't do that for free over here. We do look at teams for super chats though. Is the puppy filled yet? Questions that require you to simply go into the app, I'm not going to answer for you. Sorry, friend. We got Laundry Bro in the chat. Don't even know what he's responding to. Welcome. Thank you for being here. So we have a player in mind. You're seeing this tier. Quarterbacks go. These guys all go in the 18th round. It can be hard to adjust to DK at first with this. But even if we only had Purdy and Geno, that's a defensible too. Cook who? Brandon Cooks? James Cook? I don't think I could call James Cook washed. He's like a third-year player. We'll have some more RT sports streams. Don't know. Noah is nothing but persistent. Are you grabbing any of Hawkinson, Chubb, Dobbins? Not many on all three, Noah. We're just not doing the injured guys this year much. God. We drafted him the other day. That would be so annoying if Khalil Herbert and Roshan didn't play due to Velus Jones and I forget the other guy's name on Ian Wheeler. By the way, this year's Hard Knocks, like we're not learning much. I felt like we learned a little bit on the Jets one. Yeah, Drake May, the last of the quarterbacks other than Gardner, is pretty awesome to get here. I'd rather have Drake May than Sam Darnold. I'd rather have Drake May than Bryce Young. I'd rather have Drake May than Derek Carr. Drake May stacks with Henry, of course. He's an upside pick. Noah, my rankings are available at beatbestball.com if you want my specific rankings. Sure. Let's go Yoshi Boss. 8th and final wide receivers. Jermaine Burton caught a touchdown in the preseason game. It was in the fourth quarter. I mean, Al Michaels was saying some wild things. I don't know what we can believe there. He said things like there's a quarterback controversy with Anthony Richardson and Joe Flacco. Probably not. He also said Jermaine Burton, he's like, oh, can't be falling asleep in meetings. And apparently that's a callback to his college days where he was doing that. I don't think he's been falling asleep at Bengals camp. So Jermaine Burton remains what he is. It's possible he starts to see the field late in the season. He seems to perform when he does, but he's probably a 0 to start the year and might be a 0 the full year. Zay Jones suspended. The Zay Jones arc this offseason was weird. Like, the Chiefs brought him in, the Cowboys brought him in, he signed with the Cardinals. Michael Wilson free falled in drafts after that. Then we were like, nah, Zay Jones, no. Now he's suspended. If Anthony Richardson does not have rushing upside, he is probably unstartable. I mean, Rusty, you could say the same thing about Lamar Jackson. You're not starting Lamar because of his passing abilities or passing stats. You know, Hurts and Allen are in QB 1 and 2 because of their passing stats alone. Are we starting Lamar for 170 yards, 200 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 touchdown? No. We're starting because he can get you 100 rushing yards a game. I'm Rico over Zeke, but I draft them both. Wow, we got some German fans. My mom took German in like high school, and anytime she encounters a German person in the wild, I've noticed that she's like, "Sprechen Sie Deutsch?" Which I think means, "Do you speak German?" So I don't know. Shout out, Mom. Is Diami a decent pick now? Yeah, he's a defensible pick. He's in the same mold as like a Darius Slayton. You know, you're hoping for a spike. He can win down the field. I think Sion Vaki is someone who will probably make the rankings on Monday. He's not like up my rankings, but he is in the mix as a thin bet at RB3. But he has contingent upside if something happens to Gibbs or Montgomery. I don't think Devin Singletary is the worst of all time, but I don't really love his price as far as like an upside bet. Is sharing your favorite build through 6 rounds double? No, it's not. It's just I've done hundreds of drafts and I don't even know the answer. Sure. Alexander Madison. It's looking like he could just be in like a 1/3, 2/3 split with Zamir White. I don't know. Dylan Lobby's there too. Not my favorite pick. Would have preferred Steele. Probably not winning you the money week 17. But hopefully we're winning the money because of Achane, Swift, Stevenson. Nice that we have Stevenson on this Drake May team too. Yeah. And at this point, whatever. Keaton Mitchell, sure. Keaton Mitchell, I know at least possesses upside. I know Keaton Mitchell can go for 20 points in a week. I know he can do that. And I think he will likely play this season. And I like his week 17 matchup. So 3-6-8-3. Garrett Wilson, Achane, Ayuk, Metcalf, Mark Andrews, Xavier Worthy, DeAndre Swift and Ramondre Stevenson, Brock Purdy, Jordan Addison, Rashid Shaheed, Adonai Mitchell, Tyler Algier, Geno Smith, Noah Fant, Hunter Henry, Drake May, Andre Yoshivas, Alexander Madison, Keaton Mitchell. This is a fun duo where Madison maybe gives me some points to start the year. Keaton Mitchell gives me some big games down the stretch. We got Fant and Henry stacked up with the tight ends. Not a huge amount of week 17 correlation. We do have Swift, Metcalf, Geno for that game. And that is it. Nope. We also have Alexander Madison, 35-point game against the Saints, Rashid Shaheed, 50-point game to win us $1.5 million week 17. You heard it here first. Appreciate you guys. I'm calling it there. Hit the like, hit the subscribe button. Check out beatbestball.com. I'll have some streams this weekend. Peace out.